Alright everyone, good afternoon and welcome back again to more Muv-Luv Alternative. Honestly, I feel like, no, not just feel, but I also enjoy the fact that this chapter is more so about self-reflection as well as a chance to kind of get back together with the old crew again and just reminisce a little bit, because it's been a bit since we last spoke with the original team compared to like the newer characters that just start popping out, you know, like midway through the game. So I actually enjoyed that, and that's what this video here, or this episode's about. So if anything else, I hope you all continue to enjoy. Thank you again for the love and support, and let's do this. But we still don't know why it would degrade so fast, I take it.
そうね。最初に10レーザー級数体のレーザーを防御したことなんかも影響しているかもしれないし。
Huh?
前にも言ったわね。XG70 そのものが00ユニットの体のようになるって。
Yeah, you did.
エンジンの出力が上がってグレイ11の消費が高まれば、当然00ユニットには制御負荷がかかるでしょ。それに続いて家電粒子砲とムアコックレヒテ機関を制御してリーディングしてという具合に過剰な負荷が原因なのかも。
Yeah, I can't imagine how hard it must have been to get all that into while having to maintain control of all those other systems.
わかりやすく例えると、ものすごく複雑な動きとルールのスポーツでいきなり試合に出されて頭も体もヘトヘトって感じかしら。
She couldn't think of any particularly complex sports to make that metaphor a little simpler, huh? Well, I guess those are the luxury this world can't really afford. So, the more complex processing Sumika has to do, the faster the ODL degrades and the less time she has before her body shuts down.
そうね。
Then we almost lost her yesterday, didn't we?
可能性としてはゼロじゃないけど、そんな一か八かみたいな真似するわけないでしょ。XT70 本体にも簡易型の浄化装置は搭載されているのよ。
Oh, yeah. That seems like a reasonable precaution to take. Not like the Susuno-O's cockpit is strapped to space for anything.
昨日の場合、何がしかの要因によって ODL の劣化が急激に早まって浄化装置の処理能力が追いつかなくなった。その結果、フェールセーフが作動して00ユニットが自閉モードに切り替わった。そういうことよ。
An internal failsafe, you mean that safe mode thing?
そうよ。自閉モードの低稼働状態なら体内の浄化装置だけでも最大200時間は稼げるわ。
Huh? So Sumika went unconscious for her own safety, basically?
そうよ。言ってなかった？
No, all you said was that it wouldn't be life-threatening.
ああ、そっちの心配をしていたの？自閉モードで通用してると思ってたわ。
What is wrong with this woman? If she just explained that from the get-go, I wouldn't have freaked out back then.
言葉が足りなくてごめんなさいね。
No, there's no point in blaming her for this. She's like this in every world. It's my fault for not being able to keep up with her. So basically, the reason Sumika was struggling isn't directly related to the reason she fainted. Or went to safe mode, I mean.
そういうこと。
Okay, so that's why Sensei only took a brief glance at the data when I got to the Mogami. In that case, I guess it's not that weird that she's more stable now than she was before. I mean, she's been improving more and more as time goes on.
記録を調べる限り、機体も00ユニット自体にも何のトラブルも発生していないのよね。機体制御や戦闘システム制御とリーディングの両立が過負荷なのかしらね。理論値ではその程度のマルチタスクでどうこうなるはずないんだけど。
Maybe some alternative 5 supporters tried to sabotage us?
一応その線も洗ったけど何も出てこなかったわ。
So we really have no idea what might have caused this.
まあ、彼女の人格や精神が完全ではないことが大きな原因の一つではあるはずだけど。
Seems like now would be a good time to ask that question I had. Actually, there was something I was hoping I could ask you.
ああ、さっき言いかけてたことね。
She said that once she got to the island, she could tell exactly where I was.
まあ、そのくらいは当然ね。まさかそれで終わり？
There is. Right after she mentioned firing the particle cannon, she started saying some really weird stuff. Apparently, she thought I stopped loving her or that I was gonna leave her or something. I figured she must have been having another one of those episodes, but Kasumi said it was different from before.
ヤシロは何だって？
She said Sumika was convinced that I'd fallen in love with another girl, and that terrified her. And the fact that she could still read something from her was proof that she wasn't having another episode.
なるほど。それだけ？
Yeah.
今は落ち着いたの？
Yes, I think she must have read my emotions, which I assume cleared up the misunderstanding. Do you have any idea what might have happened?
彼女は戦域に突入してからずっとあんたを観測していた。そうよね。
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
白金が他の女とか。
You think it could have been someone in my unit? Like, maybe I was worrying about someone else's safety?
あんた中隊に好きな子でもいるの？
No, though I do care a lot about them as comrades in arms. You think she could have mistaken that feeling for something else?
可能性はあるけど、リーディング能力は正常だからね。白金がいなくなるぐらいまでの勘違いはさすがに。
Well, let's see here. Was there anything I was thinking about that might have given her that impression?
あんたはその時何を考えていたのか覚えてないの？
I'm pretty sure I was still trying to pick my jaw up off the floor after witnessing just how powerful the particle cannon was. That's one image that's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. That much I'm sure of.
それだけ？もっと詳しく思い出して。
Oh, finally, he's gonna remember, I hope. It only took one shot. It took out the entire monument in a single blast. And not only that, it eradicated almost all of the beta on the surface too.
XT70 はオルタネイティブ計画内部でウェポンシステム 110A って呼ばれていてね。あくまで00ユニットの機能拡張構想の一つに過ぎないわ。私たちが XT70 を接収した目的は00ユニットの安全を最大限に確保するため、その防御力はともかく攻撃力はおまけみたいなものよ。
She calls that a bonus? She must be joking, right? So this is what the Susuno-O or the Unit 00 unit really is capable of. Sumika. 'Mika, I sure hope you're okay. Not getting another headache in there, are you? That's right, I was thinking back on what you said about the XG70's weapon capabilities and hoping Sumika would be alright.
彼女本人のことはともかく、私？
Yes.
あんた、まさか。
Not in a million years.
私、年下は興味ないって。
Fine by me. Like I already said, I was just thinking about how you called the Susuno-O's attacks an added bonus or whatever.
冗談よ。リーディング機能が正常なんだから、その辺の感情を読み違いするはずないって言ったでしょ。
I'm surprised Maya didn't trigger it for you. So I guess we're out of leads then.
まだよ。XT70 は2度砲撃してるわ。様子がおかしくなったのは第2撃の後よ。
Oh, right.
第2撃直後、何か考えた？
Let me think. The second shot came shortly after we resupplied and changed formation. It's unbelievable. No matter how long I stare at it, I can't seem to stop gawking. I knew what to expect from Sensei's explanation in the briefing, but seeing it in action is a completely different beast. The place where the monument used to stand has been completely razed, reduced to a crater that's spitting out thick black smoke. It looks just like a volcano. Don't get me wrong, seeing Mount Tengen from up close was pretty amazing too, but this is far more fearsome than that. This isn't the awesome power of the Mother Nature we're witnessing here. This is a highly controlled man-made force of destruction thought alone is enough to send a chill down my spine. Speaking of Mount Tengen, what the hell was that back there? Was it just a normal erotic fantasy? Or was it something that really happened? There it is. Based on what Yuko-sensei told me in the other world, I apparently lose a huge chunk of my memories every time I loop back to square one. Her theory was that by transferring between worlds, I was able to retrieve some of those scattered memories. If that's truly the case, then that may well have been an actual memory of mine, which would imply that just as I've been rewriting history in this timeline, there may have been other timelines in which I experienced completely different events, timelines I simply don't remember. Forget it. This is no time to be thinking about quantum nonsense. I'll worry about it once the operation's over. Man, I gotta say, even as an outsider in this world, I was pretty damn relieved to see that the cannon's just as powerful as advertised. Yeah, I think I do actually. Sumika must have picked up on that image that flashed into my brain. The other girl she was talking about was Maya. Sensei, I think I know what happened. So, you remember how I told you my memories from the previous timelines are few and far between, right? Ah, jeez, I have no idea how to even broach this. Like, if I don't frame it carefully, she's just gonna think I'm having weird sexual fantasies in the middle of the battle. So, like, for whatever reason, I sometimes get these random images flashing into my head. I don't know if they're latent memories or daydreams or what causes them, but yeah. Well, for one, they feel completely different from the memories that came flooding back to me when I saw Sumika back in my world during our transfer experiments. So, like, I don't know if this was actually a memory or just a daydream, or what. Okay, well, it was an image of me and Maya. I mean, Lieutenant Mitsurugi and, just to be clear, I have no recollection of this ever happening, but, well... They're kinda, yeah, but basically, Lieutenant Mitsurugi and I were... Given who Maya is in this world, I kind of feel like I should be arrested for thought crimes right about now. Yes. Basically, yeah, it just popped into my head out of nowhere, and it was unbelievably vivid. Why do you think I was so hesitant to admit it? Anyway, seeing that big cloud of smoke reminded me of when Mount Tengen erupted in the previous timeline. Yeah, that's it. Once we cut down the rock, I remember getting trapped with Maya in that cockpit, but I don't remember anything after that. I wouldn't say I'm being wistful here, but okay. Right. Was that really a memory from the previous timeline, though? Or was I just having a dirty daydreams like any other teenager? Oh no, good sir, that was a previous timeline, alright? But like, do you really think it would have affected her that badly? Huh? That's none of your business.
愛情は人間の持つ感情の中で最もネガティブな行動に結びつきやすいのよ。捨てられて自殺したり、相手を刺し殺したり、恋愛が殺人に発展するケースは珍しくないでしょ?
I mean, sure, I'll give you that, but that's only in the most extreme cases.
そこまでじゃなくても、恋人と別れた後、落ち込んで何にも手につかなくなるケースなんてザラでしょ?
Yeah.
おそらく彼女が抱いているベータへの憎悪と嫉妬が拮抗した結果、オーバーフローを起こしたのね。
So then, you think my thoughts are what caused the Susuno-O to...
まあ、そういう考え方もあるわね。
So it's my fault that Kashiwagi and Captain Izumi are dead?
そこまで。
Huh?
何？また逃げ出す前のウジウジ君に逆戻り？
No, but
結果を出せば救われる世界があるなら、細かい感情にその都度向き合うのはやめるって言ってなかった？あんたにしかできないことを全て終わらせてから盛大に泣きわめくとか、かっこいいこと言ってたわよね。
yeah, and I won't, but still.
素晴らしいことじゃない。あんたは短期間でとんでもない成果を上げたのよ。
Huh?
つまり00ユニットは恋愛感情で嫉妬するまでの人間らしさを獲得したのよ。あんたはたった10日足らずで00ユニットをそこまで調律したんじゃない。その結果、あんたが望む人類の勝利はもう絵空事じゃなくなったのよ。なるほど、そういうことだったのね。だからあそこまで精密なリーディングができたんだわ。
Sensei seems pretty elated right now, but according to Kasumi, she's suffering on the inside too. Or was that a misread?
何をしけた顔して。あんたの手柄なのよ。もっと彼女が人間らしくなることはあんたにとっても喜ばしいことでしょうに。
But if I hadn't let that one stupid thought into my mind, then Operation 21st would have been a total success, and Kashiwagi and the captain wouldn't have had to die. Hell no, I'm not gonna celebrate. They just died yesterday. I'm not the kind of person who can just switch my emotions on and off like that.
じゃあ聞くけど、あんたがそれを思い浮かべなかったら、イスミたちは本当に死ななかったの？
How am I supposed to know?
じゃあ自分が原因かもしれないから嫌なんだ。相変わらずね。
I have changed. I'm not running away from my guilt anymore. I'm the one who killed Manimo-chan and hurt Sumika in the other world, and I'm responsible for the deaths of Sergeant Jinguji and countless other surface pilots in this one. And whether she was just a brain or not, I was still directly involved in the murder of this world's Sumika. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't have a hand in all that. But I'm not like you, Sensei. I can't just move past a tragedy that only happened yesterday. You're the one who told me I shouldn't throw away my emotions. Can't I have even one day to mourn the losses of my comrades? I'm acting perfectly normal in front of everyone else.
あんたがそれを思い浮かべず、イスミたちが死ななかったとしたら、死んでたのはあんただったかもしれないわね。
I mean, sure, anything's possible.
あんたを起点に無限に分岐するはずの確率時空が閉じてしまっているのよ。あんたはこの世界で死んだら、また時間遡って10月からやり直しなのよ。
I know.
次のやり直しが今回より絶対にうまくいく保証はないのよ。
I'm not hoping for another reset, believe me. I have to settle this now before this world's causality completely overwrites the other timeline and kills everyone. But I suppose she does have a point, come to think of it. Even if I handled all these events perfectly by utilizing my memories from this time, I'd probably accelerate certain things in unpredictable ways, with consequences I can't even imagine. And there's no way to know whether I could adapt to those outcomes. I might wind up getting even more people killed in the process. And it's not like I retained any memories of people dying from the last loop. Hell, I don't even remember my own death, so I obviously can't expect myself to prevent those sorts of events. But it's not just that either. If I'd somehow known all those people were gonna die during the XM3 trials, would I still have been able to tell Sensei about the beta servicing in Nagata? Would I have been able to stand back and let people die for the good of Alternative 4? That's right. As long as I'm supporting Alternative 4, there's one crime I can never avoid. No matter how many times I loop back around, I'll have to let Sumika die so she can become the 00 unit.
前に話したわね。00ユニットの組対候補者に最も求められる適性のこと。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember.
その程度の任務で死ぬような因果を持った人間に人類の未来は任せられないのよ。運とか言われてるものを因果律量子論的に言えば、各個人に先天的に備わっているより良い確率分岐する未来を引き寄せる能力に他ならない。それは平行世界から漏れ出す情報を大脳の未使用領域で受け取り、無意識のうちに的確な行動を選択して正解である世界を選び取る能力なのよ。
Yeah, you did.
今私たちが生きている時間は 00ユニットの組対候補者だったイスミが選び得た最良の未来なのよ。偶然命を落としたわけじゃなく、イスミが自らの死を選択することでこの世界を今の状態にしたのよ。日本を救ったとかどうとか、イスミの死はね、あんたが考えてるようなちっぽけなものじゃないの。勘違いしないで。
So this is the best possible future, huh? Well, alright then. Even if if we tried this 1,000 times, I'd still end up watching people die, so I might as well make this the last loop.
表に出さなくたって、ヤシロも彼女もあんたの気持ちが見えてしまうのは分かってるんでしょ？
I do. I just hurt Kasumi's feelings a little while ago because of that.
前にも言ったわね。これはガキにはできない仕事だって。
I know.
ここのところのあんたは確実に精神的な成長を見せているわ。だけど気を許さないで。人様なら許されるちょっとした甘えやささやかな自分への褒美なんて贅沢。私にもあんたにも許されないのよ。
Sorry. You're right. I was being stupid. I'm gonna finish things this time around no matter what. Not that that wasn't the plan all along, of course. I'm gonna break out of this endless space-time loop now before it ever happens again.
そうしてちょうだい。
And on that note, once this war is over, I'm gonna have a favor to ask of you.
何かしら？
I want your assistance.
どういう意味？
If I ever want to find what made me a causality conductor to begin with, I'm gonna need your help. Once I find and eliminate that, I'll be able to save all the worlds that I've effectively doomed. I don't care if I ever get to go back to my own world. As long as I can fix it, that's good enough for me.
ずいぶん信用してもらってるみたいだけど、いいの？私は最後まであんたに本当のことを言わないかもしれないのよ。
That doesn't matter to me. I made up my mind. Please, help me get rid of whatever it is that made me a causality conductor.
わかったわ。
Sensei.
あんたが死んだらやり直しなんて世界、どっちみちどうにかしなきゃならないものね。
Thank you so much.
いいのよ。こっちはこっちで勝手に動くから。
Well, I still appreciate it.
成果を出してからきちんと要求を言う。本当に一発の男っぽくなってきたじゃね。
Well, I wouldn't go that far. You saw the way I started whining just now.
じゃあまたしてもお互いの利害が一致したところで現状の対処に戻りましょう。
Okay?
まず異常劣化の原因は彼女の嫉妬と見てほぼ間違いないはずよ。
If Sensei's that positive about it, then I guess that must mean all her other functions were working exactly as they were supposed to.
彼女がこれ以上白金のイメージを拾っておかしくならないようにすることが先決ね。
Sounds good.
彼女があんたをリーディングできないようにしましょう。
Right. With the ribbon, you mean, like before?
ここまで安定していれば逆にその方がいいでしょう。他人の心が見えてしまうことは決して幸福なことではないしね。
Yeah, you're probably right. Whether that image was real or not, the fact of the matter is that it freaked Sumika out. This is the only way to ensure the same thing doesn't happen during our next mission. Of course, not being able to show her how I really feel anymore is going to present its own set of difficulties, I'm sure.
ついでに白金の周囲にいる人物も片っ端からリーディング制限に加えるわ。
That's probably for the best too. Huh? Why would we need to do that?
あんたがそうしたようにミツルギたちだって妄想するかもしれないでしょ。
I don't know.
わかんないわよ。恋愛感情はともかくあの子たちだって女だからね。
Yeah, I guess she's right. And I can't exactly deny the possibility given what popped into my own head yesterday. Sumika could read that sort of thing from anybody. As long as there's the slightest chance Mia could imagine something similar, we have to take the necessary precautions.
ま、冗談はさておき、あんたを通じてあっちの世界からの記憶が流入している可能性も無視できないわ。
Oh, good point.
本人がその記憶を自覚してなくても彼女が拾ってしまう場合があるからね。
Yeah, definitely. That's far more likely, I'd say. She could easily misunderstand things if she saw Maya living under my roof, or me and Clash Up getting all serious in our one-on-one talks.
どうせリーディング制限するなら、この機会に彼女を部隊に配属しましょう。欠員も出たし、ちょうどいい
Huh?
わ。
You want Tamika in our squadron?
調律の次の段階としては最適じゃない。あんたの周囲に女がいる環境に彼女を慣れさせるのよ。
Well, maybe so, but are you sure that's a good idea?
何が？
I mean, if she reacted that badly to a sudden flashback, don't you think this might make things worse?
だから何が？
Well, she's already seen that image of me and Maya, right? So if she were to meet Maya in person...
あんたが誤解だって分からせたんでしょ？
Yeah, I did, but can't we just prevent her from reading their minds and leave it at that?
あんたってほんと女心が分かってないわね。
Huh? What do you mean?
常に観測することで白金を身近に感じていたのに、それが急にできなくなるのよ。心が全て見えていたからこそ安心できた部分があるんじゃないかしら。彼女の精神に与える影響を考えれば、物理的な距離を縮めることでバランスを取らざるを得ないじゃない。
That's true. Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with that.
それにもう一つ、重大な予防効果が期待できる。
Huh? What else could there be?
仮にどんな物好きが舞台にいたとしても、白金と彼女の仲睦まじい姿を見せつけておけば、さすがに自重するでしょ。
Okay, first and foremost, ouch. Awful taste. Sheesh. Don't have to be rude.
何よ。そうなったとしても、あんたが困る理由は特にないわよね。
Of course not. I already told you I don't feel that way about any of them.
まあ、部隊配属は今日明日ぐらいの様子を見てからだけど、その前に白金が彼女とやっちゃえばいいのよ。
What the hell are you trying to say?
何って、彼女を一時的にでも安心させるための合理的な解決策の提示よ。
Yeah, I mean, I realize that, but still.
嫌なの？作り物に感情移入できるあんたなら十分やれそうだと思ったんだけど。
That's not even the issue here. I mean, it's not like you would have equipped her with such pointless functionality to begin with, right?
無駄な機能？あんたね、人の話ちゃんと聞いてた？
Yeah, I have, but...
00ユニットに移植された人格の人間性を維持するためにどんな努力がなされているかって話覚えてないの？00ユニットがあの姿形をしていることにはちゃんとした意味があるのよ。
あんなに柔らかく体温まで再現する意味はないじゃないですか。
人間にとって自分の容姿は最も根源的なアイデンティティなのよ。存在するべき期間がなくなると脳の生理バランスが崩れ精神崩壊を起こし、最終的には人間だった部分は死んでしまうのよ。00ユニットに外見だけじゃなく人間と寸分たがわない疑似機械や生体機能を与えられているのはそういう理由。性欲は三大本能の一つで、それに関連する機能や器官は人間性を維持する上で最も重要なものなんだけど。
Right, I guess I forgot. That's the same reason they made it so that she can eat food and even taste the flavors.
さすがに子供を作ることはできないけどね。バイタルデータをモニターされているのが恥ずかしいの？気にしなければ大丈夫よ。残るのは数値だけだし。
No, it's not that. It's just, is it really that critical for me to do this?
これは男の仕事だって言ったでしょ。そういうこともひっくるめて言ったつもりだけど。まあ、無理にやれって言ってるわけじゃないから、彼女にとって必要だと判断したらそうしなさい。
Okay, I understand.
じゃあ早速取り掛かるわ。リーディング制限の準備が整い次第、彼女を部隊配属するから。
Okay.
彼女の面倒や周囲のフォローよろしくね。
Will do. I'm honestly shocked that Sumika would get that messed up over some weird fantasy or memory or whatever it was. I get what love can do to a person, but I still feel like it was a pretty extreme reaction. Sumika's probably still not able to think logically about people's relationships with each other. That might be why it affected her so badly. It's just like Yuko-sensei and Kasumi said, her personality might be stabilizing, but there are still parts of it that aren't fully developed. We can't know for certain until she's fully recovered, but is it really safe to let her meet the rest of the unit when she's like this? It should be fine if you can restrict her reading abilities, I guess, but I'm still a little nervous. I can't just sit around worrying about it, though. We can't afford to screw up the next mission, and after that, we're going straight for the original hive. If we can destroy the enemy HQ, then victory will finally be within humanity's grasp. This is the feature the captain gave her life to realize. I'm sure as hell not going to let it go to waste. Oh!
Takeru! 偉いよ。よく無事で帰ってきたね。
She is like one of the few people I feel like we haven't seen in a long, long time. Mrs. Kyosuka, good to see you.
あんた偉いよ。無事で帰ってくるのが一番偉いんだよ。
Not a scratch on me, huh? Pretty sure she said the same sort of thing when I came back from the other world. It's like she's always here to welcome me back whenever I return from any journey. No matter how perilous it really makes me feel at home.
夕ご飯まだだろ。サービスするからいっぱい食べていきな。
Sweet, thanks. By the way, were the others here already?
当たり前だよ。とっくに食べ終わって、マリモちゃんのところに報告に行くってよ。
She must be talking about that hunk of metal we placed at the edge of the training ground to serve as Sergeant Jinguji's grave. Gotcha. I think I'm gonna head over there later myself.
でもその前に腹ごしらえしときな。みちるちゃんやはるこちゃんの分も食べてやるんだよ。
Mrs. Kyosuka.
あの子たちは本当によく食べたからね。いつもサービスしてやったもんさ。
Miss Kyosuka has seen hundreds of surface pilots off into the battle, and been here to welcome them back, or at least those who survived and mourn those who didn't. After several years of that, she's probably stronger than any surface pilot out there. I'm sure she's grieving just as much as the rest of us on the inside.
あれ城がね今から食事
Yeah, I have to go see Yuko-sensei. You wanna grab a seat, Susumiya?
私はさっき食べたよ今春子の私物を整理してきたところ
Ah, gotcha.
同期配属はもう私だけだからね私がやってあげないと
Right, I didn't even think about that. Everyone else who graduated with Suzumiya is gone.
あかねちゃん、なんか飲んでいくかい。おばちゃんがごちそうしてやるよ。
本当じゃあ合成オレンジジュース
はいよ、今用意するからね。たけるは
I'll have the deep fried synthetic whale special.
違うよ、飲み物だよ。メニューは合成生姜焼き定食と合成中華丼って決まってるんだよ。
Whoa, 2 entrees? I don't know about that.
それタイと春子が好きだったメニューなんだよ
Huh?
タイが生姜焼き春子が中華丼
Huh. You don't say.
だからさっきみんなが食べたのも同じタイと春子の分も食べろって大盛り
Oh, so it's not just me then.
そういうこと。さあ、飲み物さっさと決めなよ。
So this is Mrs. Kyosuke's way of coping, huh? Okay, I'll have some synthetic green tea.
あいよ、すぐやるから待ってな。
Mrs. Kyosuka.
ねえ後ろがね知ってた
Know about what?
おばちゃん誰かが戦死するたびにこうやって死んだ仲間の好物を部隊の人に食べさせるんだよ
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that.
城がね神宮寺軍曹の時は前線任務だったから初めてだよねこういうの
Right.
神宮寺軍曹の時はね合成豚角煮定食だったんだよ
Huh. So that was the sergeant's favorite then.
おばちゃんあの時戦死した築地ってこの好物と一緒に私たちにも合成豚角煮定食出してくれたんだ A01 部隊は全員軍曹の教え子だから特別だよって言ってねおばちゃんのああいう気持ちってすごく嬉しいよね
Yeah.
はいよ、待たせたね。
Whoa, that was fast.
バカにするんじゃないよ。注文は分かってんだ。あんた一人分ぐらいわけないよ。
Nah, you specifically cooked 2 portions for me, though.
なんだいなんだい、二人ともしんみりしてさ。
We're not really,
そうだよ。ちょっといい話してただけだってば。
言い訳するんじゃないよ。みちるちゃんもはるこちゃんも頑張ったんだろ。だったらパーッと騒いで送り出すぐらいの気持ちでいてやんな。
don't you think that's going a bit too far?
いいんだよ。あんただって自分が死んだ時みんなが暗く落ち込んでたら嫌だろ。
I mean, I'd like them to be a little sad, maybe. Oh,
何情けないこと言ってるんだよあんたは。
Miss Kyosuka, I was just kidding. Take it easy on me, would you?
おや、そうだったのか。やだね、あんたの冗談は分かりにくいんだよ。
Ah!
そうそう、そうやって笑ってるのが一番だよ。
I really like her. She's great. Yeah, sure. Laugh it up.
さあさあ、とっとと持ってって冷めないうちにお食べよ。残したら承知しないよ。
Yeah, I know.
ねえ、白金。
What's up?
機密事項だったら答えなくていいんだけどさ。
Whoa, whoa. What are you talking about?
あのさ、白金と三剣は春子と一緒だったでしょ。
Yeah.
春子と最後にどんな交信したのかなって気になってさ。
Right, Tsuzumi and the others broke off from us long before all that went down. She got the chance to say her goodbyes to Captain Isui, but never had the chance with Kashiwagi. I still feel horrible for having to leave her back there, but she did make the right decision. She did what was best for the mission, for humanity, for the captain, and for her family. I have to tell her. She deserves to know.
だけど任務に支障がない限り、それが誰であっても私は助けるから。
Even if Susumiya hates me for letting Kashiwagi go, it's the right thing to do.
別に辛かったら無理に話さなくていいんだよ。
No, it's fine. Kashiwagi was amazing out there.
うん、
Her jump unit was damaged during combat and started leaking propellant.
そうだったんだ。
She told us to go on without her because she would only slow us down.
春子らしいね、それ。
Yeah, I remember you guys arguing about this exact scenario too.
もうそれはいいじゃない。それで続きは？
Maya offered to let her ride in her TSF, but Kashiwagi said it would just be a waste of time. And she reminded Maya that it was her job to protect me first and foremost.
それも春子らしいな。
She told us not to worry and that she'd just hitch her ride in the captain's TSF before heading back the way we came. To be honest, I was pretty pissed off at her at the time. Started yelling at her and everything. But in retrospect, I think that going back was her way of making sure we had no reason to hesitate. No, I'm positive.
そうだね。私もそう思うよ。
And to think that just a few days ago she was telling us that we shouldn't save anyone who got cut off from the team if it meant compromising the mission. And yet off she went back to protect the captain. First Lieutenant Suzumiya told me that Kashiwagi was instructed to escape on her own after the beta surrounded the Susuno-O. But she ignored her orders and waited for the captain. And that's when she died.
春子。
Can you believe that? And you know what she'd said to Maya just moments before? She said, Mitsurugi, the mission comes first. I'm your senior officer, and that is an order.
ずるいよ。春子。
I don't know if I'd say that, but man, she sure was a show off to the bitter end, huh?
そうだね。
She really was incredible, wasn't she?
すごい勝手だ。
Yeah. You okay?
白金。ありがとう。春子のこと教えてくれてありがとう。
Hey, don't mention it.
ごめん。私行く。
Huh?
もう無理。一人で泣く。
Come on, Suzumiya, that's not fair. You can't just take off after putting me in this mood. Damn it.
あれタケルじゃない？あ、本当だ。
Hmm?
タケ
Oh, hey guys. Damn, it also feels like I haven't interacted with them in ages.
ル。今夕食大変だったわね。副司令のお話が長くなったのであろう。
Thought you guys were out visiting Sergeant Jinguji's grave.
ええ、そうよ。私たちの本当の偉人の報告にね。
ごめんなさい。タケルさんを待っていたんですけど。
Nah, it's fine. These things always take forever, so you guys would have been sitting around all afternoon.
あれタケル目が赤いよ。もしかして泣いてたの？タケル、そなた。
Huh? God damn it. Now look what you did, Suzumiya. No, not even. You're just seeing things.
元気だしな。
What about you guys? Your noses are all stuffed up too, you know?
そんなことないわよ。ねえ。
うん、そうですよ。すごく泣いてた。絵師失格。
あやみね。あなたね。
Man, I mean, I didn't waste a second before stabbing her in the back.
最初こそは良かったのだが、タイや柏木の思い出話に入ったあたりから皆表情が怪しくなってな。
I see. So they were trying to mourn the surface pilot anyway.
三剣の話が致命的だった。そうですね。あそこからですね。
What did Maya say? There's no way she started talking about her and the Shogun, right?
メイヤさんが最後にタイから言われた言葉や春子さんとの別れ際の話を聞いてたら。
Come on, don't make yourself cry again.
タケルさん、そのくらい仕方ないじゃないですか。
Oh wow, Tama-chan actually snapped at me for once. I don't think she's actually mad, but still. You're right. Sorry. I know how that goes.
考えてみるがよい。タイが私たちの上官だったのはたったの2週間ほどでしかなかったのだ。だが最後の通信で皆にかけた言葉は私たち一人一人の問題点を的確に指摘していたであろう。
Yeah, pretty crazy.
神宮寺軍曹からの申し送りがあったとしても、それ以上に私たちを見てくれていたってことよ。だってあれはタイ自身の言葉だったわ。
Yeah, I think so too.
私はあの言葉のすべてがタイ自身の経験に基づくものだと思えてならん。経験に基づく言葉というのは一般論や正論にはない重さを感じるものだ。タイの言葉にはそれがあった。
I guess that means Captain Izumi wasn't always such a role model herself, huh?
でも、それを努力で克服したってことでもあるよ。
Definitely. The captain always came off as the kind of person who was perfect from the day she was born, but maybe it took a lot more effort to get there than we gave her credit for. She did sort of hint at from time to time. Come to think of it, I guess I just assumed she was being modest.
少なくとも5年後までに私たちがタイと同じくらいになっていないと顔向けできないって話になって。
Why 5 years?
タイは僕たちより5歳年上でしょ。だからそれまでに追いつかなきゃってね。まあそんな話をしているうちにな。
Gotcha. Well, funny thing is, I went through something pretty similar just now.
こっちも？
Yeah, I was just telling Susumiya about the last time we saw Kashiwagi. I was trying to keep a straight face, but once I heard Susumiya getting all choked up, I couldn't hold it back anymore.
あかね。
She was trying so hard not to cry that I started to tear up too.
柏木は同期で任官した A 分隊で最後の一人だったからな。柏木の私物整理するって言ってたしね。じゃあ結局タケルも泣いたんじゃないか。
Maybe, but she's the one who made me.
男らしくないな。
何あかねさんのせいにしてるんだよ。
The hell I can't. She made the mood go down.
そうですよ。鈴宮さんかわいそうですよ。
No, 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 it is very much fair. I wasn't saying it was her fault. I'm just telling you what happened.
それが真実であれ、そこは男としてそなたが被るべきだと鎧は言っているのだ。
そうそう。
Uh,
まあいいじゃない。みんな英氏の弔いを実践しようとしてのことなんだから、今日ぐらい仕方ないでしょ。
thank you, Chizuru. Class rep.
そうだね。
Oh, Ayumi is agreeing with her.
じゃあ私は部屋に戻るわ。みんなお疲れ様。白金もまた明日からの特殊任務頑張ってね。
Yeah, thanks.
おやすみなさい。
おやすみ
Night.
僕もそろそろ行こうっと。せっかくの休みだし。って言ってももう夜だけどね。
私も行く。明日から訓練始まるし。そうですね。三剣さんは？
私は茶を一杯飲んでいく。少し冷えたからな。
See you guys tomorrow then.
おやすみ。
おやすみ。
茶を取ってくる。ここに座ってよいか？
Do you really have to ask? You know the answer is yes.
そうか。
I'm not sure if what I saw back then was a memory or a fantasy, but it still feels kind of awkward being alone with her right now. Of course, it really doesn't matter which it was. May is a great person, and I have a ton of respect for her, but I just can't see myself being with her like that. I love Sumika. That's all there is to it.
気づいたか、タケル。
Notice what?
あの者たちの変化だ。
I know, right? You thought so too? Tama was making a distinct effort to let her voice be heard, and it seemed like Class Rep was being way more open-minded.
あやみねも会話に参加しようとしていたし、鎧も話の流れをよく見ていたな。
Yeah, and the old Ayumine never would have admitted to crying like that either.
あ
And when she didn't hesitate to agree with Class Rep like that, man, I was completely flabbergasted.
あ、使い慣れない言葉を用いて表現したくなるほどの驚きだったわけだな。
Because I was, dude. Heck, I'm still a little blown away. I know the 12-5 incident and Sergeant Jinguji's deaths were big turning points for our team too, but I feel like even those events didn't affect them this dramatically.
そうだな。
Man, I guess Captain Isumi's final words really did leave a huge impression on them. Everyone's working so hard to change themselves now, they didn't even try to use their grief as an excuse to put it off. That's the words of Captain Isumi at work, I guess. Even I got some good advice from her.
確かにそうだが、やはりあの2つの事件があった上でのことであろう。
Because they put us in the right frame of mind to take her words to heart, you mean?
そうだな。私はそれだけではないと思うが、
Only a part?
125事件や神宮寺軍曹の事件はいずれも私たちが巻き込まれる側にいた。
Yeah, you're right.
自分の力ではどうしようもない流れの中で、身近なもの、そうでないものを問わず、多くの者たちが落命していったのだ。それについて己の力不足をいくら悔やもうが、個人の力だけではどうにもならない部分がほとんどであったのだ。そういった状況を打開できるほどの力を自分が持つには、どれだけの歳月がかかるのか、それが可能なのか。そう考えたとすれば、無意識に諦めに似た思いを抱いても不思議ではない。
So basically, you think we kinda got smacked down by reality.
まあ、そういう言い方もできような。
You never seem too fazed by either of those incidents, but I guess that's because you've lived your whole life grappling with the same kind of doubts. At the very least, they've always been lurking somewhere in the corners of your mind. That's why you were able to take Her Highness's place when the shogunate was in real danger. That's why you were willing to sacrifice your own body when I was having that total mental breakdown, even though you already lost everything yourself. God, you really do blow me away.
高21号作戦での、特にイスミ大尉の死は本質的な意味が違う。
Right, I see what you mean. Instead of getting killed in battle or something, she actually chose to die of her own free will.
そうだ。ある意味では状況に翻弄されながらも、自らの選択によって状況を打開し、その後の流れを変えたのだ。
Yeah,
いかに大尉とて一介の兵士に過ぎないのは事実だ。 だがそういった力なき立場にあっても状況を変えうるのだということを大尉は示したのだ。
And you think that's what motivated everyone to change?
その前にもう一つ、ここからが私の言うそれだけではない部分なのだが、
What's the other part then?
あの者たちは立て続けに起きた2つの事件で現実に打ちひしがれた。それによってもともと持っていた自らが戦う理由が揺らいだのだと思う。
Makes sense. In my case, all I had to lean on was some vague notion that I was helping to bring about humanity's victory.
だがあれほど動揺していたそなたが単独任務に赴いたことはあの者たちへの奮起を促した。そなたが単独任務に赴いた後、皆で集まって話をする機会があってな。
Huh?
皆そなたに負けぬよう己の心を鍛え直すと言っておった。
They all said that?
そしてそなたが戻るまでの間、死を失った同じ悲しみを共有する仙人たちと接し教えを請ううちに、あの者たちはもっと明確で具体的な自らが戦う理由をも見つけたに違いない。
That's great.
だからこそイスミ大尉の挺身から多くを学び、あのような形となって現れたのであろう。
Man, May never ceases to impress me. She's known what she was fighting for from the start, so it must have been crystal clear to her that the rest of us were struggling to find our own motivation. So in that sense, maybe we finally caught up to her level, or at least gotten a little closer to it. You know, come to think of it,
なんだ。
the night before the operation, I had kind of a similar discussion with Captain Isumi right before you got there. Well, we mostly just talked about our own personal motivations for fighting, so I guess it's not entirely the same thing.
大尉が戦う理由か。差し支えなければ私も知りたいな。
Well, basically, she told me about the study the Americans did on the soldiers from World War II and onwards, in which they asked what each of them were fighting for, and got some pretty surprising answers. I figured most people would have said they were fighting for their country or their family, or something, but I was wrong. Apparently, it didn't matter whether they were fighting Beta or other people. The vast majority of soldiers fought to keep their comrades in arms alive.
戦友のため。
You got it. They wanted to protect the people who had been through hell and high water with them. Once you get out of the battlefield, thinking about your family or your country isn't enough to keep you going. You need a more personal reason, something more immediate.
身近な理由か。
Yeah, and the more I think about it, the more I realize I've been through that same dilemma myself in a way. Though it's not a perfect example. During the 12-5 incident, when humanity's victory was the only thing I was fighting for, I couldn't even give the Shogun the Trizolum she needed. I knew full well that it was the correct choice, that it would give us a chance to wrap up the mission quickly and without further casualties. I knew that doing nothing would put our whole squad and everyone else involved in danger. I knew I should have done whatever it took to put an end to the stupid infighting as quickly as possible, but I just couldn't do it. It wasn't because I had some other plan or because she's the Shogun or anything. I saw the end of humanity with my own two eyes, for crying out loud, and yet, it was just... As soon as I realized I might be directly responsible for a young woman's death, I had no idea what to do.
そうか。
Though to be fair, that probably had more to do with me being a shitty soldier than what we're talking about now. But the point is, you've got to have an incredible amount of resolve to get by by nothing but vague abstract sources of motivation. Unless your mind's built like a tank, you're going to have to rely on more specific and tangible goals. That's why people who can fight for such broad goals are so awe-inspiring to me. People like Yuko-sensei, the Shogun, and Lieutenant Tsukuyomi, Captain Sagiri, and Major Walken. Not to mention the fathers of the other girls from our squad. And of course, people like you, Maya.
よせ、そこに名を連ねることを良しとするほど私は高顔ではない。
But you never wavered the way the rest of us did. Your motivations have been set in stone from the start.
私はそうやって生きるしか術がなかっただけだ。
Doesn't matter. You never once doubted the reason for fighting, and I still look up to you for that.
それは光栄だが、イスミ大尉に私がいただいた言葉、そなたも聞いておったであろう。
I did.
私は抜き身の刀だそうだ。
Yeah, I've gotten that impression from you too. You always seem really intense in combat, especially.
刀とは 収まっている時が最も威力があるものなのだそうだ。
Because it gives the user more options, right?
私は視野の狭さもそうだが、生き様もまた狭いのだ。先ほども言ったが、恥ずかしながらそのような生き方しか知らないのだ。
Come on, you know that's not what the captain was trying to tell you.
分かっている。警護リストから抹消されたことをタイは気にかけてくださったのだ。用済みとなった私が死に場所を求めて戦うのではないかと心配してくださったのだ。そなたも同様だったな。
She could tell, huh?
だが心配には及ばぬ。
Huh?
警護リストから抹消されたことで、私はやっと己の戦いを許される立場となったのだ。
Mea.
無論これまで心に置いていた戦う理由がブレるものではないが、だが私も遅まきながらそなたの言う身近な戦う理由とやらを見つけようと思う。
I'm glad to hear it.
一日も早く皆に追いつけるようにな。
Man, I was completely off base here. I always thought Mea was way ahead of us all, but she felt exactly the opposite. I can definitely understand why she might see her lack of personal reason of fighting as a
ミ
disadvantage.
スみたいが戦う身近な理由とはいかなるものであったのだろうな。私ももっと大尉と話す機会をいただけばよかったな。
Okay, I know this is super private information, but Mea's really trying to take a step forward here. You understand, right, Captain? The captain told me that at first she was fighting for a chance to see the man she loved again.
大尉が
She was the second of 4 sisters, and all of them were in love with the same childhood friend of theirs.
幼なじみか。
But apparently, he was so dense that none of them were able to make any headway, and I think that must have made it even more frustrating to be apart from him. But according to her, that all fell to the wayside after a while. Soon enough, she found herself fighting primarily to protect her comrades, just like in the study. She never forgot her ultimate goals of humanity's victory or alternative for success. But once she started racking up combat experience, her motives began to shift. Maybe she just wanted something more tangible to risk her life for, something to reassure her that her death wouldn't be in vain. The captain said it was probably just her getting overly sentimental, but in any case, that's how she ended up. You know, she told me something just before we all said our individual goodbyes to her. She told me that in her final moments, she was thinking about her family and that childhood friend. The thing is, one of her little sisters was a member of the whiskey unit in Operation 21st. Of course, her sister had no idea that the captain was participating in the same campaign. Our identities and missions are all top secret, so there's no way anyone in the IJF would have known that Captain Izumi was involved. But she was actually grateful for that. She said it would allow her sister to fight without having to worry about another family member's safety. This is just me speculating, but I think the reason she volunteered to manually detonate the Susuno-O was to increase the odds of her sister surviving. Obviously, that doesn't change the fact that she did it to keep the Susuno-O out of the enemy's hands. But when she shot down the possibility of a rescue attempt, I think it was because she already decided to destroy the Sarugashima hive in order to save the people she loved. Kashiwagi was the same way, but I think the captain did what she did because she knew it would fulfill not only the mission, but her personal wishes as well. In that sense, she really was an extraordinary person.
そなたの言う通りだ。私はイスミ大尉にもっと教えを請いたかった。
Yeah, me too. I think that's about the only thing we needed that she couldn't do for us. Though, if she were here right now, I'm sure she'd just yell at us for complaining and tell us to figure it out for ourselves.
そうだな。そなたの尊敬は大尉にこそふさわしい。
That's not true. I'll respect anyone who surpasses me in some way. That's why I think you're extraordinary too. You might not think so highly of yourself, but the fact remains that all the stuff you've done so far has given me good cause to respect you. And you have a duty and obligation to ensure that my respect isn't misplaced. Remember that? It's exactly what you said to me when I lost my shit after Sergeant Jinguji's death.
まさかこのようなタイミングでその言葉が自分に返ってこようとはな。
Heh, heh, heh. Gotcha, didn't I?
まったく、そなたは執念深い男だ。
Oh, trust me, I've got a lot more of your little inspirational quotes where that one came from. Better watch out.
肝に銘じておこう。ところでタケル。
は？
そなたは今何を理由に戦っているのだ？
Me?
人類の勝利だけでは戦えなくなったという先ほどの話。続きがあるのであろう？
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't.
工学のために聞かせてくれ。